Hello and welcome back to mymetaverseminute.com, your place for the latest news, views and opinions from the Metaverse. Now today's episode is brought to you by Cloud Wars Expo, running June 28th to 30th at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. I will be there leading tracks and sessions alongside Bob Evans, founder of Cloud Wars, and the rest of my Acceleration Economy analyst colleagues. You can go to cloudwarsexpo.com to learn more and join me there.
Join thousands of CXOs June 28th to 30th in San Francisco, California at Cloud Wars Expo as we explore a new metric called the time to dazzle, exclusively focused on how long it takes to dazzle customers with new business models that are enabled by the cloud, empowered by AI, and optimized with human ingenuity. Register today at cloudwarsexpo.com and join a movement to make dazzling customers the metric that matters.
Now, this week, I was brought to an article was brought to my attention from a colleague, and it posed a very significant and important question. It asked, will we still want the metaverse after the pandemic has ended? Now, we're coming to the close in many respects and in many places of the pandemic, and it has certainly shaped our gusto and our need for metaverse-style technologies. We've all become more accustomed to working remotely. We've all become accustomed to communicating online through virtual spaces. But will we still crave this kind of communication and this kind of interaction and immersion at the end of the pandemic? Of course, the pandemic has driven many companies to invest in the metaverse, and it's seen an explosion in many technologies. However, it is a very important question as to whether these were well-founded. In the article, there are many fors and against the idea that the metaverse will still be important at the end of COVID-19. Essentially, it boils it down to the fact that, yes, it will be, but not in the way that we see it now, perhaps in different areas. We're not looking at, for example, people spending 20 hours a day on headsets, but perhaps 1 or 2 hours a day, as long as the value's there, then maybe it will be a good, there'll be use cases for it. I want to look at it from a different angle. I want to look at it from the bare fact that some of the biggest corporations in the world are willing to take such enormous risks. Of course, the money's already there and the risks are negligible in some respects compared to some smaller organizations that might take similar risks. However, the losses have already been colossal and people are still driving forward. Let's look at Facebook. Facebook lost 10 billion in its metaverse enterprises last year, which wiped essentially immediately 232 billion off the value of the company. But Meta is still moving forward with their endeavors. We have to trust the big corporations that they know what they're doing, okay? Obviously, trust has been an issue for a number of corporations and technology organizations over recent years. However, these kinds of investments and the people that are investing in it, the areas that they're investing in, they wouldn't be happening unless there was some deep knowledge of how this is going to pan out. Let's look at the iPad. When Apple introduced the iPad, it was immediately written off by many, many commentators, but now it's morphed into its own technology called a tablet. I truly believe that the investments being made by the corporations that we're looking at, like Meta, like Microsoft, these huge, multi-billion dollar investments have to be done for a reason. And we essentially will follow the market. When the technology is there, we will adopt it, because that's what happens. How we adopt it remains to be seen, but the metaverse will continue. And we can be assured of that because of the amount of money and the amount of time and the amount of effort that's being put in by really significant players. Because if it wasn't worth it, it wouldn't happen. Till next time, stay tuned and stay curious.